Hello, my name is Christanna Colomb, and today's vocal essay topic will be about private events and inner causes. Events are things or people that serve as a trigger or antecedent to a person's behavior. A cause, however, is the reason or function of the person's behavior. Private events are just that. Private. According to Baum in 2017, private events are things like thoughts, feelings, and sensations that only the person experiencing them can actually observe or describe and could potentially be observed by others under certain conditions. This can be found on page 34. An inner cause is the explanation that someone would use to explain why a behavior is happening. Private events and inner causes are different in that private events are still considered to be behavior, even though they are not publicly observable, whereas inner causes are explanations or labels that are used to describe behavior but do not actually explain why the behavior occurs. In the analysis of behavior, to appeal to inner causes would provide little value because inner causes do not truly explain behavior. Environmental influences on the behavior are not considered when appealing to inner causes. Inner causes are harder to measure due to them being an inference on behavior and not events that can be observed directly. For example, someone could say that a man behaved a certain way because he was upset or depressed. Skinner in 1953 notes that frequently we describe behavior not with verbs which specify action, but with adjectives describing characteristics of aspects of actions. That can be found on page 194. This means that instead of describing what the man is actually doing, we label the behavior with terms like upset or depressed, which does not explain why the behavior is happening. According to B.F. Skinner, in his 1953 literature, emotions are not inner causes. They are the patterns or likelihood of behavior that are based on a person's experience history. That can be found on page 162. Therefore, it is impossible to get a true explanation of behavior by appealing to inner causes, because they do not identify the environmental variables that can be observed, measured, and changed. It is good to not rely solely on one thing that could have a big impact on the results of research or analysis. To only rely on inner causes can lead to interventions that are not efficient or effective. It can also interfere with the search for finding real causes of the behavior. In the end, this could cause harm to the individual or individuals that are being serviced or studied. I want to go back to the inner cause example I gave about the man being upset or depressed and dive a little deeper. Instead of having a vague reason for why he is acting the way he is, his behavior should be analyzed by examining his environment and the consequences that could be impacting his actions. These labels are not a true cause of the behavior because they cannot be directly observed or measured.